Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be talking about mindful presence and why that serves us so much in our everyday lives. And I think we can all agree that when we're in a pleasant setting, we're somewhere beautiful and it's nice and we're around lovely people and lovely experiences, it's a lot easier to be mindfully present. And that's what we experienced this past weekend on our mindful backpack retreat, is that you're just surrounded by beauty, beautiful smells and the flowers and the colors, and we had wonderful weather and lovely people, and your mind wants to be there, right? It's like a nice setting for your mind to come back to and be present in. And we were all noticing that the longer we were there and settling in, it was like the easier it was to bring our minds from the busyness of the day and all of our chores and the worries of our lives, and it just started to settle in into being present in the experience we were having in that moment. And it just kind of happened more naturally. As the days went on, it became easier to do so. And of course, we can see why that serves us, because when our mind wanders to other things about fixing our lives at home or why this is an issue or this, it takes us out of this pleasant experience in this present moment. So when your surroundings are beautiful, you can really acknowledge the fact that the mind wandering takes you somewhere not quite as nice, right? And then you can kind of notice that when your mind is not just here with you sitting next to this babbling brook collecting water for you to drink today, that it goes to things that maybe don't serve as well, that aren't as pleasant, and you can really notice when it's doing that, coming off of this experience. But what happens when we're at home and maybe our present moment experience is not that pleasant? We're having to do chores or we're at work and things are chaotic. Then why do we want mindful presence? And it's harder to notice in these settings that the mind is wandering, or it's harder to notice that it would serve you well, and honestly, it's harder to do. It's harder to keep the mind present. And I teach clients this all the time, of the sensory awareness of coming back to what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're sensing. And a lot of them that give me feedback on the site and saying that oftentimes it can be really hard in everyday settings to just be present with what you're seeing, right? When we look around and we see the chores to be done, or we see the bugs crawling on our wall, and that upsets us, and we go on a story of why our house isn't sealed, and that's me. I have that experience with the elm bugs. So when kind of our present surroundings are making it more challenging for us to just be with what is, then that kind of increases the mind wander, because it's not enjoyable for the mind to be here. So as we're building that skill of mindful presence, it can be really helpful to start in pleasant places. Go on a retreat. They're so wonderful. They make that environment for you. They create that space for you in the energy that's around you and how everyone is behaving and how everyone is being present. And use that energy to start cultivating your ability to come back home to the present moment. And then don't, worry so much if it's challenging at home. It's a skill to build. And I always tell clients that when they say they're struggling, well, I can't be present when my eyes are open. I can't, because I see all these things. So, well, great. If it's making you anxious, don't do it. And maybe you do try to start with mindful presence out in a park or in a nicer setting or in the garden. And let it kind of support you. Let your environment support you, the space around you support you in cultivating this presence. What happens is, as it gets stronger, and why that helps us is even in a difficult situation, a chaotic situation, a busy one, it's still more beneficial to us to be mindfully present, because we are observing, we are understanding, we're being with the experience right here, versus trying to either escape, which then we don't understand our surroundings as much, we can't be in them in a way that serves us as well, or we are telling stories about the situation we're in. So yes, it's challenging to be here in our everyday lives when we're looking around, we're seeing the things that need to be done. But in mindful presence, you can be with that, just observing, just saying, this is how it is. This is where I am right now. This is the experience I'm having. That deepens that connection to your presence in this moment, your ability to show up here intentionally. And when we're not present, we're here in this hard situation and we're adding on stressors. We're telling stories about, why is this happening? Why is this hard? How can I fix this? Woe is me, victimhood, bah! I get really hard with, the environment. I'm down here and I'm hot, and I'm hot right now, and I'm saying, oh my gosh, what does this mean for our future of our planet? And I start worrying about the earth and what can I do about it? These are all non-present thoughts. This is not mindful presence. This is you being in this experience and now adding on all these stories to the experience, all these worries to the experience. We can do that out in the woods too, which we experienced. If you can be there and start telling yourself stories about how the bear is going to arrive or the trees are going to fall in your tent, or, so it shows up everywhere. But those stories are what take us away from mindful presence. So instead, if I'm just here and I'm experiencing the heat, I say, yes, right now in this moment, I'm hot. Great. Maybe I get a drink of water, without the added drama. Or I'm here and I'm seeing the bugs and I say, oh, great, there's bugs. I can be intentional with that. I observe that without the added story of, oh my gosh, they didn't seal this right or whatever. But that's how mindful presence serves you, even in places where it's not so pleasant. Because you can be with that experience without adding on more story drama to it, more dilemma to it. Just experience it. But like I said, when we're cultivating this presence, it can be very difficult to bring in that non-judgmental, observational presence to our kind of everyday hectic life, or where there's discomfort involved. So as you're starting to develop your mindful presence, create the space for yourself that's going to help support you in that, and make it conducive for you to experience it. Go out in nature. Like I said, try a retreat. Go somewhere where someone's cultivating the energy for you. And that's where you can start experiencing the peace of mindful presence. And as that energy grows stronger within you, that skill grows stronger, you will be able to start bringing it back to the places of your workplace when it's stressful, or your home when you have a lot of chores to do. And it's just step by step, a little bit of a time. So you're noticing how that presence serves you and keeps you not so, adding the drama story to things and worried about it and out in la la land of creation of the mind, and grounded here in this experience. in what's happening in the here and the now, and how you can be intentionally your authentic self within it. If you enjoy these little talks and would like to join us for group sessions or individual coaching, you can find us at newleafmindfulness.com. You can find my meditations on Insight Timer and my YouTube channel. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you all very soon.